The subcommittee will come to order. After recognizing myself and Ranking Member Deutsch for 5 minutes each for our opening statements, I will then recognize any member seeking recognition for 1 minute. We will then hear from our witnesses. Thank you to our witnesses for being here. I apologize that we did not get a chance to shake your hand and say thank you beforehand. The witnesses' prepared statements will be made a part of the record. Members may have 5 days to insert statements and questions for the record, subject to the length limitation and in the rules. Before we begin, I would like to recognize the Tunisian ambassador to the United States, who is in attendance today. Maybe later. We welcome the ambassador when he comes and look forward to continuing to work with Tunisia to help its people and realize their goal of a democratic future. The chair now recognizes herself for 5 minutes. Perhaps it is fitting that Tunisia, the nation that started the Arab Spring, is the only country in the Middle East and North Africa that has made any significant progress toward democracy. But that future success is still very far from certain. Despite all of the positive gains that Tunisia has made over the past year and a half plus, from adopting a new constitution to electing a new parliament and the first real free and fair presidential elections since its independence, it has been two high-profile terror attacks in Tunisia that has really sadly captured the world's attention in this North African country. And with greater scrutiny over Tunisia's security situation, it has also highlighted some of the other struggles the current government is facing as it struggles on its path to democracy. One of the major stumbling blocks for the new Tunisian government is turning its economy around. As the recent terror attacks at the hotels on the east coast of the country reminded us, Tunisia is largely dependent on the tourism industry. Tourism is responsible, in fact, for some 15% of the total GDP. Tunisia's tourism industry is already taking a hit from the economic troubles in Europe. They might just not be able to recover if there is any lasting damage to its tourism economy. In fact, Tunisia's president stated that another terror attack like the one last month could cause the collapse of his government. But cracks in the country's economic outlook were already there. The government needs to do more to fundamentally address the economic challenges as well as the security challenges if it is to continue to have the support of the people of Tunisia. And that is why programs like the Tunisian American Enterprise Fund, which invests small and medium businesses to spur economic growth and employment, are steps in the right direction. Democracies aren't formed overnight, but it becomes difficult for people who have been through so much and who have come so far to be patient and to understand that this is a long process and that there will be ups and downs along the way. The nascent government needs some major accomplishments that it can point to in order to really solidify its support for Tunisia's democracy project. And that is where the United States could play a very important role. The stability of Tunisia and the viability of its democratic transition is not only strategically important to the United States and the region, but it is important to all of us who believe in democracy and what the people of Tunisia are trying to accomplish for themselves. It would reaffirm the significance of the demonstration the millions of Tunisians participated in to get this started. And it could still prove to be the spark for change across the entire region, the example for others to emulate. That is why it is critical that the U.S. invests our assistance in Tunisia wisely, and that our policy puts the people of Tunisia in the best place to achieve their goals. We need to ensure that our security assistance is going to building up Tunisia's capability to protect its citizens, to enforce its laws, to defend its borders from the terrorist threats coming from Libya or Algeria, or returning from fighting with the terror groups in Iraq and Syria. Last week's designation of Tunisia as a major non-NATO ally was a very positive step forward. We're going to need not only a partner willing to cooperate with us in the fight against ISIL, Al-Qaeda, and any other terror group, but an able partner as well. because make no mistake, Tunisia is home to the most foreign fighters that have flocked to Iraq and Syria. Once these guys return and put into practice what they have learned on the battlefield, Tunisia will have its hands full. We must also ensure that we are helping Tunisia build a foundation for democracy by supporting the rule of law, civil society, and respect for human rights. We need to help the Tunisian government strengthen its institutions, consolidate the political gains that they've made in these past 4 years. In short, we need to invest in Tunisia's future if we want to ensure that the future will be a democratic one. I commend the people of Tunisia for not letting the recent terror attacks disrupt the progress toward democracy and for their commitment to this transition that they began in 2010 and have paid a very high price for. They deserve our support, and with that support, they could one day be the model for other countries in the region. With that, I'd like to turn to my good friend, the Ranking Member, Ted Deutsch, for his opening statement.